Greetings, welcome back to Acadian Comics. I'm your host, James Fondren, and this is a new episode of Comics Hall episode 44. And this was new, my haul from yesterday, Wednesday, April 9th, 2025, on New Comics Day at my local comic book shop. And I'm just going to get right into it. So if you haven't already and you enjoy these videos, or if you're coming across these and you kind of want to, these videos and you just want to see like what's out there in the comic book shop scene and how that's going and kind of what's being put out there in the mainstream, please consider hitting the like button and subscribing to the channel. So there's been a lot of talk and buzz about this comic, Vatican City, which is, put out by Mark Millar. And, I kind of had written off Dark Horse for a while, but I'm not going to spoil the whole book, but, there is a significance between, obviously you're seeing here, these are vampires, and I'm not going to spoil the story, but this is a vampire story, and essentially, this is a great introduction, and I don't want to spoil what happens in the book, but it's very clever, it gets you hooked, it gets you engaged, and I don't know if I'm going to just wait till the trade paperback or I'll be picking these up weekly, but you kind of see what's happening here in the book. So, Vatican City, issue number 1, highly recommend, excellent comic book. And yeah, the art isn't like, it's a little eccentric, but it works. So check it out. If you get an opportunity to read this book, or you see it at your local comic book shop, pick it up. Vatican City, number 1. This is Geiger 13, and this was just, I enjoyed reading this. It's very cinematic. Again, Gary Frank is the artist, Jeff Johns, and the trade paperback from last year's volume just recently came out, but you start to learn about this new character, Ashley, and Geiger, and she has powers as Geiger has, and the U.S. Army at the behest of the president in this atomic wasteland has shown up, and now they're out there and they're kicking ass. They're going to kick ass, and you see the action here and what's going on, and people are getting messed up by Geiger and this new character we were introduced to, I think 2 issues ago. So I read it, I enjoyed it, I'm looking forward to what happens next, but that's Geiger issue 13 from Image Comics. So I was never a huge Spawn reader, but because I'm learning how to draw, and I'm in the How to Draw Comics Academy, I really like Brett Booth's artwork. Like, I really love the rendering here in this, and these images, and just the layouts and the storytelling. It is really great. This is a good comic. Spawn is a good comic. It has historically been a good comic. And the fact that we're on issue 363 is just incredible, but I don't want to spoil this book, but the artwork is just phenomenal, and Brett Booth is just, he's really nailing it here. So I really love to see, I get it for the artwork. Look at the rendering here. Look at how that is achieved. Look at this. Gorgeous. Amazing. So that's Spawn 363. I like the story, but the artwork is amazing, so I'm kind of getting it as a study, but just great artwork. That's Spawn issue 363 from Image. So I picked this up, issue number 2, Star Wars Jedi Knights, and I read it, and it's a good story. It's a prequel era story, and it's basically Yoda and this other Jedi Knight. They go to this planet that's like it's got like ostensibly it's a farming planet, and then all sorts of stuff starts to happen, and they kind of investigate and look here. Here's sort of like this is a classic comic book shot. The guy sitting on the throne here, right? Classic panel. Very, it's nothing crazy, but it's well executed at the professional level. It's well drawn. It's a well drawn comic book. You can't take that away from anybody. It's very well drawn. You sort of have the xenomorph thing going on here. I know they're not actually xenomorphs, but it certainly reminds me of Xenomorph. And here's your guy here, and Yoda and him duel it out, So I don't want to spoil it, but I like where this is going. There's this underlying plot point about with Obi-Wan Kenobi and Qui-Gon Jinn, and like kind of Obi-Wan Kenobi's fear of the future and what's going on with his master and all that. And so anyway, and then there's Star Wars #1 coming out soon in May, so I'll probably pick up a copy of that. And I think the author, Alex Segura, is going to be at my local comic shop doing signings, and it's going to be a free comic. So there's going to be a long-ass line for that, but I think I might be in line for that. We'll see. But that's Jedi Knights, issue #2, the variant. It's a variant cover, but I thought this was the better cover to pick. So, and I think this is all they had at my shop. So now we're getting into like books I haven't quite read yet, but I wanted to go through. So this is Star Trek Lore War, issue #1 from IDW, and they don't say W anymore; it's just ID. IDW Publishing, and like this, I started reading it, and you kind of see like I'm trying to read about the parts of the galaxy, the Gamma Quadrant, the Alpha Quadrant, the Delta Quadrant, the Beta Quadrant. And you like look at Borg Prime population 0, world designation dead, Vulcan population 0, world designation quarantine. Earth is a world designation labor. Kronos population 23 billion, world designation war. Academy of Lore. So yeah, it's again, this is also a well-drawn comic, and it follows the Deep Space Nine character, Captain Sisko, and his wife, and Jake. So his wife never was killed by the Borg. And, when Jean-Luc Picard was assimilated by the Borg, and Starfleet fought the Borg when Jean-Luc Picard was Locutus. So none of that's happened in the story, but I think it's interesting. They're all laborers, and I started reading it, and I thought, I gotta get this on camera, So anyway, interesting. So there's something going on here. Like there's some tomfoolery, and obviously here's Worf, and it's Dr. Crusher, Captain Sisko, and then Laura. Cool cover. I guess these are all the different variants. Oh, they're showing you. So part 2 will come out, I guess, next week. Yeah, next week. And then, it's weekly. It's going to be weekly. So, Lore Wars. So there's going to be 5 parts of this. So, but anyway, I thought I'd give it a chance. If I like it, I'll pick it up again. We'll see how it goes. But not bad for IDW. They're using the property well, and I haven't bought a Star Trek comic in a while, but I do like Captain Sisko as a character. Deep Space Nine was great. So that's Star Trek Lore War, issue #1. So this is The Amazing Spider-Man. This was a variant cover. Quite frankly, it was the best cover that was in the store in my comic shop. And just the art, it's got this sort of cartoony look to it, but it's got something else to it too. So it's like a mixture. You see, it's interesting, the choices that they make stylistically. I haven't read it yet, but there is some good Spider-Man action in here. And then I think John Romita Jr. actually has a story in here somewhere. So that's a really cool double-page spread, right? Pretty cool. And then here we go. Okay, so Pepe Larraz, he's the artist on this. And now here's another story, The Amazing Spider-Man Death to the Tyrant. Now you're in John Romita Jr., so you look at that, and it's different stuff, right? Different style. But anyway, I thought I'd pick it up. They got me. It's an issue #1. Fine. So, The Amazing Spider-Man. And this is Grimm Fairy Tales. So when I was in Germany, I picked up a couple of Zenoscope comics. So it's kind of cool to see that in my local shop. And I started reading another vampire story, Stakes and Stones. Artwork, Babisu Cortis. And the artwork is good. Like, this is good. Let me just pre-scan this, make sure there's no boobies. No, it's just chick fights, vampire chick fights. So yeah, I mean, okay, cool, interesting. It's not. I like it. I like the style. I'll read this, but I like these little smaller condensed stories, So, And I think she's like Van Helsing. At the Xenoscope, she's the female Van Helsing. So, cool. You know, I'll read it. And what else? Revival Comics. ComicRevival.com. Okay. And last but not least, you can't see it, but this is a reprint of Star Wars. Oh man, it's hard to see, but look. Check it out. From 1977, the first issue. It's a nice, cool reprint. Check it out. Stan Lee, Roy Thomas. It's kind of cool to see. Where's the data you intercepted? Some Joe Weider ads, you know. Wow, there's a lot of ads in here. Okay. A lot of ads. Man, too many ads. Look at how they do Vader, and they portray Darth Vader and R2-D2. It's just the coloring. It's like Vader's blue to show like this is his black suit, but they couldn't put some blue on R2-D2. I mean, well, a more an old school way of coloring comics. You know, they're only using certain tones and colors. You know, so it is what it is. But yeah, I'm gonna flip through this whole thing because Star Wars. Everyone's seen Star Wars, and you know that's the first comic. That's issue number 1. Like he doesn't even get off the planet yet. We're not. You know, Luke hasn't even left. He's still you know, with Biggs. Oh, but look, we stop at the point where they buy the Jawas. Stop and they buy the droids, right? Uncle Owen and Luke Skywalker. They buy the droids from the Jawas. Yeah, I find your lack of faith disturbing. Is Vader holding a glass? He's holding a cup. He's holding a cup. Yeah, that's what that is. That's a cup. So, that's it for this edition of Comics Haul. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, if you did, please consider hitting the like button and subscribing to the channel. And I will catch you right here next time at Acadian Comics.